Hey ladies, it's Heather from Flowers by Jenny Lynn. We are going to start off our centerpiece back by our sink at the shop. And I have already taken the time and glued your floral foam into your centerpiece dishes so that you don't have to worry about tape or anything like that. It's going to keep it secure. So the next thing that we're going to do, face down, and we're going to put the foam right into our sink that I've clogged up, put the plug in, and you want to allow the centerpiece by itself to submerge. It's going to bubble out the sides. Give it some time. It could take about 5-10 minutes for this to happen. Okay, you can tilt it a little bit. If you push it straight down, it is just like taking a vase or a cup and pushing. You're going to leave an air pocket in there. It isn't filled up all the way, only half of it is filled, kind of like a canoe that overturns. There's still an air pocket under there, and that's what happens with the foam. Partway through, I do tip it over because now it is heavy enough by itself to fall over, and as long as there are no bubbles, then we are good to take it out of the water. Hey ladies, welcome back. We had a little intermission there because I had to get a phone call from a customer because we are videoing this during shop hours. So people are calling and placing orders, so we just had to take a little time to take care of that. So now we've had time for our foam to soak all the way and get all saturated. It has become much heavier, as you know. I did not add water to it, but please add water. You don't have to worry about traveling. You are at home. So make sure that it comes within like half of your fingernail. That's how high up you should have your water because of how high this is sticking above the level of the base. So you want it to be full of water. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put in our candles. So I usually use my knuckles as how far apart to place them in. And I try as best as possible to go in straight. But when I say that, I will probably be going in at an angle. So we're just going to try this, okay? And I'm just pushing straight down into my foam. The foam will hold my candles in place. Hey, I did not so bad. Not so bad. Yep. Okay. Better than I thought. All right, so these are the white candles that we're using. They are 15-inch. If you don't like them, you can take them back out and use them in another arrangement or use them in candlesticks. But sometimes just having the look of candles makes your arrangement a little bit more elegant. So the flowers that we're going to use are some tree fern, some baker fern or leather leaf. We're going to use some solid aster or yellow aster, some statice. We are going to use some mums. We're all going to have different colors since I got mixed boxes, carnations, and tulips. So tulips, carnations, and the mums, you might have a different color than what I'm working with. It has been very interesting to order flowers these days during the pandemic. Not everything is coming that the wholesalers are ordering, and not everything that is on my wish list is coming on the day that I want it to. So all of your flowers, if they haven't come here this afternoon, which is Wednesday, then I'm getting them tomorrow morning. So your flowers will be very fresh and ready to design with, okay? So with your fern, you're going to cut it apart into little pieces. So take off the lower branches. We are not going to be putting them in as full pieces. You want as many small pieces as you can. And you can leave the top point alone. I'm cutting this in half so that I have these to work in together as a twosie. And then I've cut this so I've got a little point, and then this is a threesie. And I'm just cutting all of them now so that I have a nice pile of fern to play with. Again, cutting some of these apart so two of them are still stuck together. There's my twosie, and another twosie. Cut my top off, two, and we'll leave these two together for now. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with our tree fern. So now what I want to do is to set my boundary. How big are we going to make this? We don't have enough flowers to make it a nice, humongous centerpiece. That is not the style that we're going with this time. So we're going to keep it a little closer to the container. And you always want to angle down. Get my pile out of the way here. Angle it in like this so that you're covering the container. If this were your crystal bowl or a metallic container or something like that you wanted to show, we would be more at level, but we're going to cover down. So everything that we're putting in is going to be angled, so we're not going to notice the container as much. Now we don't need to put everything side by side fully together on top of one another. So I'm not going right around the edge and making a collar. Now I'm taking some of my twosies. As you notice, I have 2 twosies up in this area. This is the space where we're going to put our nest. So I'm kind of leaving that a little open and not working it as much with covering it, because the moss is going to cover it. The moss is going to be our nest. So again, I'm just taking my pieces. This one was just a little ratty on the top. Nice fancy word for not so perfect. I took that apart and I can still use that top piece. It's just not going to be the end point of that one. And this one here had a little piece that is missing his top. Not that he's not perfect, not that he can't be used. I'm still going to use them. I'm just going to trim off that area. So this twosie we can use down here to cover in some foam. Right now we're covering our mechanics, and our mechanics is our foam. Sometimes our mechanics is tape, sometimes it's wire. In this case, our mechanics is our foam. And I'm just placing all of my baker fern or leather leaf around and around and around and around and around, because for a centerpiece is an all around arrangement. It's not one-sided. So whatever we do on one side, we have to do on the back side. It doesn't have to necessarily be symmetrical, but at least address all sides of it using the same colors and same flowers. That way you can see through to the other side. My daughter is my camera person, and she of course said, smile. So being that I don't have you ladies in front of me to interact with, I keep forgetting that I have an audience, and right now it's an audience of 1. So as you can see, I have filled in around the whole arrangement, but I've left that center open a bit for what we're going to do at the very end. All right, so with my tree fern, we're going to cut this apart into pieces too. This is just going to add some texture, and because this is fluffier, it fills in some of those spots that you may not have been able to fill with your baker fern. The one great thing about being on video is you ladies can stop me, you can make me larger, full screen, you can go back and forth to complete the arrangement, and like me, if you got a phone call, you can stop me and get back to me when you need to. All right, so again, cutting this into multiple pieces. And putting them where I feel I just need a little bit more of an extension of greenery. This is just going to fluff the arrangement out. I need a last one over here. All right, let me spin this around so you can see how I worked the whole way with baker fern and then the tree fern. So now I've got a nice fluffy little pile here. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to put in, I need roses. Hang on one second, I need to get them.